Here are the Nike spikes that I will be weighing in ounces. They are all size 9.5 other than the MaxFlies, which is our size 9. One other difference is that the first three here, I should say the final three that I'll weigh, all have spikes in the bottom, whereas the first one I'm gonna weigh, the Rival, does not have metal spikes. So starting with the Zoom Rival S, no spikes in the bottom. Its weight, oops, I should probably zero this thing out first. Its weight, 6.1 ounces. Oh, there's the 6.2. It's gone back and forth. Next up is the Nike MaxFly 4. You can see the plate on this one. It's got the hexagons removed, and the top is very light. Nike claims it's the lightest spike they've had. And that one comes in at 5.0 ounces. Next up, the Superfly Elite 2. Check the plate out on that one. Similar to the MaxFly 4, where some of the plastic is removed to bring the weight down. Also, the upper, it's kind of a mesh, or they call it the Atom Knit, which is a pretty light material compared to some of the stuff in the past. So that's 5.5 ounces. So that's coming in right now as the second lightest. So as a reminder, we've got 6.1 to 6.2 without the spikes in, so it'd be even heavier. 5.0, 5.5. Finally, the MaxFly, which does have spikes in it, but this one is a half size smaller. This is a size 9 compared to the 9.5s. And that one comes in at 5.7 ounces. So a little bit heavier than the Superfly Elite 2, but you can see there's a lot happening on this one in terms of the air pocket, carbon fiber plate, a lot of stuff happening here. So kind of the final rundown: 6.2 ounces, 5.0 ounces, 5.5 ounces, and 5.7 ounces. I don't know how much the weight makes a difference. I know some people feel that the lightest one here, they would like that. Not quite sure it matters all that much. I think it comes down to what feels comfortable and how you like the plate. If you want to compare the plates on them, you can see you have the 3/4 plate here on the Rival. Pretty solid grip, and I think it's a 7-pin design. I think they're all 7-pin other than, I think Superfly Elite's the 8. Here again, another 7-pin design. You can look there, got the hexagons removed, hard plastic, very similar, kind of in shape. You can see this has hexagons as well, but they weren't hollowed all the way out. I'm wondering if they started here before they went to the MaxFly. Here's your 8-pin design on the Superfly Elite 2. Different bottom, you don't have hexagons, you have a lot of different shapes. I don't know if those are octagons, or maybe there are some hexagons in there, I don't know. Just a lot of variance there. This one actually has probably the best natural grip without the spikes. Very sharp. I'm excited to try this one on an indoor 200. I have used the MaxFly 4 on an indoor 200, and so far, at least on Mondo, these feel pretty slippery. I'm a little underwhelmed. I've loved these for training on my outdoor track that I go on, which I'm not quite sure what the material is, but they've had solid grip on that. Haven't had any issues, but they have felt very slick on indoor tracks with tighter turns and that Mondo surface. I just haven't gotten the grip I was hoping to get with them. Feel great on a straight. These look to provide even more. They got a really good grip, so I'm gonna check these out in the near future. And then finally, this is the one that's really different. Once again, a 7-pin design, but the bottom you can see is just a completely different design compared to the prior spikes, where you've got the plastic here, you've got the carbon fiber plate underneath, the air pocket there, and your foam. So that's the rundown on the weights. I know I've made a previous video where I really sang the praises of the MaxFly 4. I've loved it in practice. I've loved it throughout all of my training. I've run a couple races in it. 200, like I mentioned, wasn't super fast, and I felt I was in a lane 2 on the indoor track. Didn't feel like I had the greatest of grip. My 60-meter dash, I started off the year running a 7:16 in this, which is only a 10th off my best, so I'm 40 now. Fairly happy with that. And I was coming off of a week of not feeling the greatest. So 7:16 in that is totally sufficient, feel great. These right here ran in last year all year. More than sufficient once again. These are the most recent pickup that I'm excited to try, especially for that indoor 200 where I think I'm gonna need more grip. I know a lot of guys like these. You have Aaron Brown, you have Kenny Bednarik, folks that have preferred these in the 200. And I know I have ripped a lot on these, but the research shows that these right here do seem to provide an advantage in races. I just haven't really teased that out in practice yet. I swore that I was done with them. I think I'm going to continue to experiment with them. along with the research showing that they provide an advantage, and I linked to that, I pinned that comment in my previous video. If you look at the top 50 times in the 200 in D3 over the previous years, you will find that that top 50 time has come down since the introduction of these spikes. The last couple of years, it has come down at an amount that is consistent with what the research shows. And I think the research showed something around max velocity is improved about 1.3 or 1.4%, something like that. And you will find that if you look at the top 50 200 times, or if you look at that 50th 200 time in Division 3, which I feel is a pretty solid proxy, that best time has come down right around that 1% as well. So there sure seems to be an improvement for that level of sprinting. I haven't found it in practice. I've run solid times. I found a little bit faster over here, but I'm struggling in the 200 indoors with these. I don't feel like I've got the grip I want. So I probably will go back and try the MaxFlies again. So anyway, here's the rundown of the Nike spikes. I know folks have asked about Adidas. I have never tried Adidas before. I've got some New Balances. I got some other stuff, but Nike is just the one that I always kind of come back to because they feel comfortable. So that's the rundown. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to show here. I've shown stiffness in prior videos. Oh, I think I've also gotten asked about the stiffness of these two here, right? Very close. It's going to be kind of hard with this angle. Kind of pushing on these guys. I don't know, I'm trying to think the best way to show stiffness here. I don't know. They feel real similar to me. It's hard to tell the difference. These might feel slightly stiffer. I know on my foot, I feel a slightly different kind of point where that stiffness is. These, I don't know, these feel really, I don't know, they just feel good. They're comfortable. These ones feel like they have a little more support kind of right. I don't know what part of the foot that is. Not all the way up here, not back here, kind of in that mid-foot area. They feel that they've got a real solid push. Yeah, that's pretty stiff right there. Solid push right there. Puts a lot of foot up, pressure up through the foot, force through the foot. I know that when I've practiced with these indoors, I feel a little more through the Achilles than I do on these ones. So maybe that implies more stiffness, not quite sure. All right, that's my rundown. Way longer than I anticipated it being, so it's par for the course with me.